Thanks for tuning in to the Animal Control Report podcast, where we help debunk the dog catcher stereotype. A lot of times people think it's the dog catcher when they hear about animal control officers, but here on the Animal Control Report, we change that by taking you inside the day-to-day operations of animal control officers. Not only will you hear stories of animal control officers, but you'll hear from industry experts as well. We are also part of the Keep It Humane podcast network. We have some amazing partners there, so check them out at keepithumane.com/podcast network. You can listen to all the animal control and animal welfare related podcasts there. And let's continue to help people help animals.
Welcome to the Animal Control Report with your hosts,
Texas Bishop
and OG Bishop. We are again without Dan. Do you think maybe we hurt his feelings on the last one and like he's afraid to come back now?
I don't know. I don't know why he trusts both of us again for what is this, number 3, I think, in total that we've done by ourselves?
I'm thinking he's just a glutton for punishment.
To be fair, though, he's been working really hard with all the wildfires and everything out there, so I'm sure he's exhausted.
Yeah. Well,
Shouts out.
He definitely has some kind of a cold going on, but I'm guessing it probably has a lot to do with the fire and the smoke and everything like that too. So
I would assume so. No
yeah,
thanks.
it's pretty crazy out there. How close did he say again it was? It was just within a couple miles of him, wasn't it?
Yeah, they weren't too far from him, and I think the last we had talked, it was about 10,000 acres that were on fire, and
Yeah.
ugh, just awful. Our hearts are out in California. I can only imagine. I would rather deal with hurricanes all day. Fires is just a totally different animal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in that respect, how are you doing? You guys got you're getting the side eye from the hurricanes.
Yeah, and then shouts out too to Louisiana. I'm sure all the ACOs out there and animal shelters, doing the Lord's work. We're good. Texas just got water for the most part, so it brought back all the humidity and the icky and the gross back to the state. So that's kind of disappointing, but hopefully we get a little cooler at the end of the week. A lot of hunting seasons are coming up for us too, so looking forward to all of that. How are things over yonder in Wisconsin?
Well, weather-wise, we went from like general 60s back up to almost 90 again today. So, you know, it 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 is not unheard of where I'm at to have all 4 seasons in the course of a week. So, we'll see how that goes. Um, but definitely in my general neck of the woods and directly related to me, I mean, things are stressful. Um, Anybody checking out my personal Facebook, I know Dan actually posted something on his LinkedIn as well. Um, my city has determined that they no longer need a full-time humane officer, and they are terminating my position and me, and they're going to go with 3 part-time people instead. But that's a whole episode in and of itself. So, maybe we'll delve into that a little bit later. Um, but like I said, my Facebook is open. Usually if anybody tries to add me, as long as I can see that you're somehow associated to the animal world, I'm usually more than willing to add you. But check us out on Facebook, Instagram, uh, apparently TikTok, YouTube,
YouTube, Spotify, all the things,
all
guys.
the things.
All the things.
So check us out, give us reviews, let us know how we're doing. Get in contact with us. Like if you've got anything, if you're getting hit hard by hurricanes or wildfires and you want to talk about it, um, hit us up. Let us know. Tell us how you guys are doing out there. We definitely want to check in with you guys. Um, but today we have a really interesting guest and somebody I'm excited to talk to. Carie Broecker, who is the executive director and co-founder for the Peace of Mind Dog Rescue. Carie, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started, and what do you do?
Yeah, so that's a lot. I've been in the animal rescue world for 27 years. I started out on with the animal rescue organization that was I was their first volunteer after they were founded, and then I quickly got on the board of directors and became the unpaid executive director for 12 years, and so was helping to run that organization. We were taking in dogs and cats, puppies, kittens, moms with puppies and baby bottle babies, and all of the, injured animals and the too shy and the ones that the shelters needed help getting into rescue so that they could focus on the other dogs that were in a more adoptable state when they came into the shelters. And so I did that for 12 years. And rescued over 12,000 dogs and cats over the 12 years with our team. And then I left that organization just in a little state of burnout, needing to rejuvenate and heal. And about 2 months after leaving that organization, I was doing pet sitting, and I was taking care of a dog for a lady who had emphysema. And so she was kind of in and out of the hospital, doctor's appointments. I would help to take care of her dog while she was dealing with her medical issues. And it came to the point where she went on hospice care and knew that her life was coming to an end. And I was taking care of her dog, Savannah, at that time. And so I would take Savannah to the hospice facility to visit her. And what she was most concerned about is what's going to happen to my dog. Savannah was a beautiful Cocker Spaniel mix, 7 years old, which, is a senior dog, but she was healthy. But she was the kind of dog that if a stranger went to pet her, reach down toward her, she would nip at their fingers because she was just a little bit timid in that way and she didn't trust a lot of people. So Alice was really afraid that she was going to pass away and she didn't know what was going to happen to her dog. She didn't have any friends or family set up to take Savannah. And when I was there visiting her, I said, "Don't worry, I will make sure she's okay. I can help, I can find her a new home." And that was an easy promise for me to make because I'd been doing rescue and adoption for 12 years. Trying to find a home for a special needs behavior dog wasn't out of the realm of my skill set and my connections. And then later after that visit, just the whole concept of peace of mind dog rescue, the name, what we were going to do came to me. And that was, taking in dogs from people who were dying, from senior citizens who couldn't care for them, people going into assisted living. And I knew that that was a niche in the community that wasn't being filled. And I knew that firsthand because when I was with the Animal Friends Rescue Project and we were taking in the shelter animals, we were getting calls all the time from people in these situations, but that wasn't our focus. That wasn't our priority. So the best we could do for those people is say, take that dog to the shelter. Hopefully they'll get adopted. If they don't, hopefully they'll get on our list, on our rescue list, and we'll get to them that way. But what we knew that did was put more pressure on the shelters who were already over full with strays that had no person attached to them. And it also put a lot of stress on the animals that went into the shelter system, especially someone who's been in a home with somebody for, 10, 12, 13 years, and now all of a sudden they're in a shelter environment. They get very depressed, shut down, don't show very well. Most people in going to shelters aren't going to adopt a dog that's over, 12 years old.
Yeah.
So I called my good friend Monica Rua, who had been on the board of directors at Animal Friends Rescue with me. And I pitched her this idea of this new rescue group. We decided we had already healed enough over the course of 2 months that we could jump right back in and start something new. And she was all for it. And she said, let's also take in the senior dogs who end up in the shelter system. Let's help relieve that pressure from the shelters. These dogs that are less likely to get adopted, free up space for the animals that hopefully have a better chance. And we knew from our work going to the shelters and choosing who we're going to, the shelter volunteer, rescue coordinator, or shelter manager usually kind of points out, okay, these are the dogs who need to get out. And it was typically the senior dogs, and we saw the senior dogs, sitting, laying, facing the wall, head doesn't lift at all. And then you've got the younger dogs who are jumping up and barking and, it's just like, get me out of here, take me. And so a lot of people pass up just those really depressed looking dogs who look like they have medical issues. So that's kind of how we got started. It's been 15 years. We're all completely foster based. We don't have a facility other than our office. And we, in 2019, were able to build and open our own vet clinic so that we are able to provide vet care for the dogs that come to us within our own system, which was a life changer and lifesaver during COVID. We opened 3 months before the shutdown.
Oh, wow.
The clinic, and if we didn't have that clinic at that time, we wouldn't have been able to. And at the time we had 80 senior dogs in our care needing ongoing vet care. And as you know, lots of vets were, they're sheltering in place. They were very limited access to veterinary care. So we do have 100 dogs in foster homes at any given time. And we do have amazing adopters who come to us and say, I want to adopt the least adoptable dog that you have. Who's been here the longest? Who has the most medical needs? And that's always really heartwarming that people are willing to take in some of these dogs that we're bringing into our program.
So if you have 100 dogs in foster, how many fosters do you have?
We have 400 fosters on our roster.
Oh,
Of course, we have over 1,500 volunteers in our organization. And of course, not all 400 are fostering all at the same time. Sometimes we've got people on our list who fostered once, but we kind of know what their soft spot is. So we keep them on the list in case that, Cavalier King Charles Spaniel comes in and we know that they're the person who's going to want to foster, maybe adopt that dog. But the thing that's different with us about a typical rescue is we have this whole other side of our program, which is one of our main focuses is wanting to keep dogs and their person together as long as possible. And so we do that through what we call our Helping Paw program, which we provide financial assistance. We give out over $200,000 a year in financial assistance for senior citizens and low income, unhoused people who have pets but cannot afford the care. So we'll give them food and veterinary care. We have a limit of $500 in veterinary care per pet guardian. So it's not like we're paying for everything for the rest of their lives. But if somebody just needs to get over that hump, we can do that. And we have other organizations in our community that also help with vet care for people. Sometimes it's not even a low-income person, but somebody who just switched jobs or had an illness in the family, or somebody in the family just passed away and now they're one income, and now all of a sudden they have a dog that needs a $6,000 surgery. So we network with other organizations who can provide more financial assistance. And we also help with dog walking for senior citizens or disabled people, anybody who isn't able to walk their dog for a physical reason. We have volunteers who do that 7 days a week, show up and make sure dog gets out for a walk. And then also temporary foster care for people who are going through some sort of medical emergency. Either they're in the hospital, they're recovering from a surgery, or recovering from a stroke, or any number of medical emergencies. So that's our way of trying to keep dogs and people together. And a lot of what we do, because some of my very, very good friends do work in the shelter system, people who are rescue coordinators, animal control officers, shelter managers, animal care, those are my heroes, are those people. To me, they are on the front lines, doing, so much of the work, and they often do get are not appreciated by the community as much as we wish they would be. But a lot of what we're trying to do is ease up the burden on the shelters, because they've already got enough on their plates. And so we're in touch with our shelter partners on a daily basis, and they know they can contact us. Last week, we just got a call. They didn't have a vet for 2 days. Our vet wasn't coming in until Wednesday. It was Monday. They had a 7-year-old hound dog who had been hit by a car.
Oh.
And they had no veterinary on site. So they called us. We're like, bring that dog over to our vet clinic. And we named him Rover.
Love it.
It's kind of a little off take on Range Rover. We don't know what kind of car hit him, but we were, sometimes you have to be put a little humor into
Yes.
some of the drastic things that happen. And we thought he was very, very, very broken. And our vet did an x-ray, several x-rays. And we found out he's just extremely bruised and swollen. So he's got a really good prognosis, and he's just a real cutie.
Awesome.
I will
Well-
say, I'm looking at your website right now. and
Don't,
it's
Ashley.
So dangerous.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So dangerous, because I'm the old Chihuahua lady.
Yes.
I
I was
love
just
me.
gonna say, don't go on.
We've
I've
got
already
a lot
seen,
of
like,
the little old
4
Chihuahua.
of them that I'm gonna show my husband.
Yeah.
Sorry, my cats
I
are
was,
fighting.
my husband and I were just out to dinner with friends a couple nights ago, and someone in the restaurant came over and said, how do you guys have the cutest dogs? I follow a lot of rescue groups, and you guys are the cutest dogs. And I'm like, I know, every single one comes in. I'm like, oh my God, I love you so much.
Guys, and we'll shout out the website again, but peaceofminddogrescue.org. It's, oh my God, if you're like me and you like the old timers, whether it's little or big, they got some cutie patooties.
The little gray faces and
I
the
know.
missing teeth, so the tongue hangs out. They really do. They get the little toddlers.
This is the most dangerous adoption page I think I've been to in a hot minute. But it's interesting that we're on this topic too, because next year our programs coordinator came up with a great idea. We are going to the assisted living homes here in our community that allow pets to go ahead and give free rabies vaccines and free microchips and kind of a free exam at no cost to them. It's an area of our community that I don't think that we really kind of thought of, in general, because, not too many places do allow for their pets to come with them in the assisted living homes. But I think it's great, and to add on to that, how do y'all educate and kind of what are you telling people in the community of how to prepare for, your pet's life after you're gone?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we do have what we call our perpetual care program, and that program is about educating and inspiring people to make arrangements for their pets before they pass away. And we do encourage people, if they're in the financial position to do so, to set up a pet trust, just like you would for a minor child. And a lot of people are able to do that. Some people will leave $5,000 or $1,000, and it's just a little something to, sort of be like, yes, feel responsible for this animal that I have brought into my life and that I love, and I'm leaving some money for the next person or organization to help with the care of this pet. That being said, we have people sign up for our perpetual care program that don't have it, little lady who has living on $800 a month Social Security, and she's got her little poodle that she, has had for 12 years. She want to make sure that that dog is okay, but she has no money to leave for their care. I mean, the majority of the dogs we take in don't have any money, and are going to cost us a bundle. So if that little lady gives us a call, we'll meet her dog. We have a 3-page form where they give us all the information about the dog. Who's their vet, what food are they eating, any medical issues, what words do they know, where do they like to walk, what's their schedule. And it's so that we can, if something happens to that person, we want to make that transition for the dog as little stress as possible. And the more we know, as you know, we get so many dogs that we have absolutely no information about their past. They have a new name. Their whole life is turned upside down. So for these ones where people can kind of make pre-arrangements with us, we get all the information we can so that we can make that transition. Even if the dog just has their original name with them, it's going to make them feel so much more secure that they're in the right place, and these people care about them, and they can start to make sense of things. Because we do see dogs just come in, they had a life before, they like structure, they like a schedule, and now we're asking them to come into a whole new place. And sometimes they go to a foster home, doesn't work out, they come back. They go to another foster home, it doesn't work out, they come back. They go to an adopter, it doesn't work, as much as we all do to try to make that match work. With some of these dogs, it's a challenge, and you've got to figure out what place. They need to be a place without cats. They need to be in a place without children. They need to be in a place without another dog. Whatever it is, you're kind of building that knowledge base of what this animal needs to be successful in a home. And so that's our perpetual care program. And right now we have 100 people signed up with us so that we can take in their dog if something were to happen to them. And over the last 15 years, we've probably taken in about 15 dogs from people who did sign up with us, and they did pass away, and the dog came to us. Some of the people signed up with us are perfectly happy 40-year-olds, healthy people who don't expect to, they're just taking care of business and getting their estate in order so they don't have to think about it. And then sometimes we'll get a call from someone who is ill and knows they have 6 months or less to live, or they're 85 years old and they're kind of being realistic about how much longer they may, and they don't know, am I going to outlive my pet, or is my, and so all of those different scenarios, it gives people peace of mind, hence our name, to just make sure that their dog is going to be cared for in the event that something happens to them first.
You talked about for the people that unexpectedly go into a medical facility or something themselves, can those be just short-term situations too, where the animal ends up going back home?
Yes, and that is our goal, is to provide temporary foster care so that the dog can go back to the person once they're better. We typically, our temporary foster care is up to 3 months. If it goes beyond 3 months, then we start to have the conversation about maybe it's
You
not,
can't.
we're not going to get to the point where the dog can go back, and we want to
Sure.
get that dog moved on in their life to whatever their next permanent home is going to be. And sometimes it's the social worker at the hospital who contacts us. Sometimes it's a neighbor or a family member. Right now, we've got a little Chihuahua in a home alone right now because her guardian went into the hospital with some complications from diabetes. And the next door neighbor's been just like going in and feeding her and getting her out once a day. And there's pee pads down. And then yesterday we got a call from the Meals on Wheels volunteer saying, I just talked to his mom. He's not coming home tomorrow like we thought. So now we're kind of rushing to find she needs to go into temporary foster care because his situation is getting a little more dire, and we hope he comes home. We don't know what that's going to be. But usually someone in the community is able to let us know that there's a dog in need. And of course, if we can't talk with the guardian, like this man is in ICU, so we can't talk with him, we find a family member and get permission. Can somebody give us permission so that we can remove this dog from the home and make sure that they are taken care of until he's home and able to care for her again. Most likely in this situation, once he gets home, we will then start our dog walking so that the dog can be home with him. And we will be able to get our volunteers walking her every day. It's looking like he's going to have a leg amputated. So that is just like the perfect situation for us to be involved with. And then if his dog does outlive him, we'll be there to bring her into our program and find her a permanent home.
And that's like, all I can think of in a situation like that is you guys are doing a whole lot more in that case than just helping with the pet. Because if you are going to be able to be there to, have dog walkers there, that means somebody is going to be able to go and check on him.
Yes.
And so there's so much more to this than just being able to help people with their pets.
Yeah.
Um, which is what I feel like all animal welfare is. Like, we all say that we're in it because we don't like dealing with people or, things like that. Um, but the reality is it is all intertwined.
Yes.
Um, and eh, uh, here, when I have somebody who goes to the healthcare center, goes to the hospital for any reason, they don't have friends or family, like, it's incredibly difficult for us because I have to take this animal into our shelter as what we consider a held for cause. And that means that there's fees associated because our shelter is having to hold them. Um, and, I do everything I absolutely can to try and um, make it that we can find somebody, a neighbor or whatever, but I have to have permission, and there's a lot of things that go along with that. Um, so having a program out there that can actually take these animals in and keep them in a home setting, alleviating some of the issues and the stress on the shelter who, are like, well, I really could use this kennel, but now we're holding it. This is a great program.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, we do definitely our volunteers get very involved in the life of the person whose dog they are going to walk. It is a great touch point. I mean, just like Meals on Wheels is, where somebody's going every day and they have eyes on that person. I mean, if the person has a medical emergency or isn't looking so good, and then also sometimes also having eyes on the dog to make sure that the dog is being cared for. And we do have some helping paw clients who have some dementia going on, is the dog getting their medication or their nails trimmed? All of those kinds of things become very important. And most of our volunteers who do work in the Helping Paw program, they become very close with the person, the guardian. They, care about them. You know, sometimes they'll end up taking them to doctor's appointments and, you know, inviting them over for dinner and, you know, just developing a bond beyond their volunteer work.
Yeah, I think it's a huge niche of our industry that's really underserved. Because, you know, in the scope of things, and, you know, our shelter had a situation recently, you know, where somebody put on the application, you know, we'll just bring the animal back to the shelter, you know, if, you know, and well, I see that, you know, a lot of people don't realize, you know, we are an open door, you know, we only have so much space, you know, while we would love to be able to, you know, hold on and harbor until somebody gets out of the hospital or, you know, whatever the situation might be, it's hard for us on our end to do that. So I need, you know, what you guys are doing are great. And I hope that more organizations kind of tackle this on and work with the shelters to kind of help with this issue, because again, it's a huge underserved topic in our industry that I don't think people talk about enough. You know, you hear it, you know, every now and then, you know, pets are a lifetime commitment and, you know, XYZ, but at the same time, you know, life happens, you know. I tell our staff all the time, I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. Are you gonna be able to run this place if I'm not here, you know? So you just never know. You never know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we really do encourage if anybody is in another community and wants to start something similar to what we're doing. I think it really is a nice for somebody who already has a rescue group to add on some of these programs is really helpful in the community. And we have so many volunteers who um, really are volunteering with us specifically because of the aspect of helping people and dogs and helping people and dogs stay together. And you know, we do only do dogs, but there is another organization in our community kind of modeled after us called Golden Oldies Cat Rescue. And when we first started, people were like, why do you only do dogs? And we really made a choice. We wanted to be focused and do one thing really well and not spread ourselves too thin. And so I was so delighted when the founder of Golden Oldies came to us and said, I want to do the same thing for cats. And so if we're happy to, people can contact us. We'll, you know, share information, forms, policies, anything that you want if you want to get something similar started. And I even tell people if they, you know, go to an assisted living facility and say, hey, is there anybody here who I can start walking their dog for them, you know, for free? And it can start small. It doesn't have to be a big thing and let it grow, or just help one person at a time.
How would somebody reach out to you guys to get some information to, you know, if they want to expand their current rescue?
Yeah, they can contact us at info@peaceofminddogrescue.org, or our phone number is 831-718-9122.
Fantastic. And we'll get that into the show notes.
Great.
Um, I this needs to spread. Like this needs, because I see you guys are primarily,
We're
oh
in
I
Central California, so
yeah.
we're in the Monterey, Santa Cruz, San Benito County area. We do typically take in dogs in our local area, but also throughout California, we have dogs from guardians who can't care for them. Um, and it's, you know, it's kind of on a priority basis. So if we've got a waiting list, it's going to be the dogs closest to us first, but then we do kind of spread out. And we do have people signed up for our perpetual care program who live in other states. Our only requirement with that is we do require that they have some sort of trust set up for the pet that includes transportation. So we do have people who live in Colorado and they've put in their estate plan, peace of mind is to take my 3 dogs, and here's this money to fly out here, rent a car, and drive them back. So we do also do that. The dogs that we commit to, I think I forgot to mention that we do need to meet them and do an evaluation, make sure that they're friendly with people, friendly with other dogs, that's kind of our need before we can make a commitment to bring them in and take care of them for the rest of their life. Because it's real hard to find, a home for dogs with a bite history. It's hard to find a foster home, an adopter. And then also most of our foster homes do have dogs of their own. And so they need to be able to come in and integrate into a home and be kind of dog friendly with other dogs.
Well, and I feel like that only makes sense, because you're talking about having this dog who may have some behavioral issues already, and then putting them in a situation where they're going to be even more stressed out. Their owner is
Yeah,
no longer with them and other
yeah,
things. So I think that is a very responsible consideration.
yeah. We
Um,
don't want to make promises we can't keep.
yeah,
That's the bottom line. We want to make sure that we are able to respect whatever the wish or the wishes of the person who leaves the dog to us.
that is awesome. I really encourage anybody that's listening, if you know of any rescue group who's like, okay, what more can we do? Um, Reach out to Peace of Mind Dog Rescue and, see if you can encourage others to start a similar program. Because there's absolutely a need for this.
Yeah,
Because
I would
it,
love to see a peace of mind in every community.
yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have the bandwidth to continue to spread out at this point. But we do, we're happy to help others do something similar.
Not only that, I think y'all's website has great information. I just
Mhm.
like on everything in total, if you're in this situation, what can you do? Kind of I think this is just great, and again, it's just weird how life works. We were having this conversation with some individuals, but just this conversation comes up all the time too, and what do we do? Or mom or dad passed away. Can you take their 15 cats? And
Oh, yeah.
that type of situation, and it's hard for us to be like, I don't have the space for that. Here are a couple of rescue organizations who might be able to help you with something like that. I wish we could at any point in time, but it's just difficult when we have such a revolving door of so many animals coming through the doors. I wish we had that opportunity. It's just, sometimes it's just near impossible to help with situations like that, fully overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, for anybody listening that needs to get in contact, peaceofminddogrescue.org. It'll be in the show notes along with the phone number. Carie, is there anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't get a chance to talk about?
Gosh, I think we covered just about everything. I'm really, thank you both for this podcast and for the education that you're doing and for the work that you do. And good luck with your whatever's happening with you and your
Thanks.
job. I know that for my friends who are in shelters, changes, budget cuts, every year it's a struggle to stay staffed. And I really honor the work that you guys do.
Well,
We
thank you.
appreciate that, Carrie,
Yeah.
very much so. And again, guys, peace of mind, dogrescue.org. If you're interested in giving a monetary donation as well, they have a wonderful page of it's titled Ways to Give. There's several different ways that you can give to this organization, which I think is fantastic. I mean, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel, people here. Just
Yeah.
definitely talk to Carrie and everyone at Peace of Mind Dog Rescue. It seems like they figured it out. And if you're looking to start something like this, or if you're a shelter organization who knows a local organization that, is wanting to do a little bit more, maybe this is a route that they can take. And I think it would help greatly.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely a need in every community. Just because you don't hear about it being a need doesn't mean it's not there. So definitely think about passing on the information or starting it up yourself.
Agreed. Agreed.
But make sure you have others to help you and you don't become the crazy Chihuahua lady that has how many at home?
I only have 4 right now, okay, but they're not old yet. I have one that's geriatric technically, but my poor husband. I've said it before, when we first met, we lost one dog after another. I mean, when he came into my life, all my dogs were above age 13. And so it wasn't easy for him. So shouts out to my hubby because I know it was tough. And again, too, not too many people go out looking for the seniors. And it's one of my favorites. It's just I always walk around our facility and I go, what kind of life did you guys know? My current shelter kiddos, what kind of life did you know? I wish you could talk, and we wish you could figure out just to make life a little bit easier. I can only imagine what it's like to just get your life turned upside down and not be able to communicate that. I think about that a lot these days with the amount of animals coming through, how hard it must be.
Yeah, definitely. We've been there too with the senior dogs, for the last 15 years. It's been, one passes away and then kind of real quickly another one. When you got everybody over the age of 13, 14 years old, it's kind of one after another. Where right now we're down to, we've had as many as 6 of our own dogs plus foster dogs, but we have one 15-year-old and one 11-year-old, and they're both pretty healthy. Nobody's incontinent right now. Everybody can walk, everybody can see. We're just kind of enjoying that for a little bit.
That's saying something.
I feel that. I definitely feel that. I mean, you get into the stage of vets every week, and we're on heart medication and kidney medication and
Yeah.
all the things.
Well, check us out. Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, we're there. Just look for the Animal Control Report podcast. If you guys, need help reaching out to Carie, let us know, or have any interest in coming on the show, talk to us. That's all we ask. Just talk to us.
Yeah, reach out, and we're always here to chat, or if you just need to talk about something or vent, please reach out to any of us. Times are hard for everybody right now, and just the industry in general, while we all tackle on the issue of overpopulation. It's been tough. It really has been tough. I think we say it a lot. We were taking a lot of good steps forward, and then after COVID, it's like we're taking 100 steps back. So we all know, from rescue to animal control to animal sheltering to veterinarians' offices, we feel your pain. And, if you want to come on and chat and just need to vent to any of us, reach out, please.
Yep, absolutely. But as always, help people,
Help animals.
keep it humane.